on a morning from a Bogart movie, in a country where they turn back time. You go strolling through the crowd like Peter Lorre contemplating a crime. She comes out of the sun in a silk dress, running like a watercolor in the rain. Don't bother asking for explanation, she'll just tell you that she came in the year of the cat. She doesn't give you time for questions as she locks up your arm in hers, and you follow till your sense of which direction completely disappears. By the blue tiled walls near the market stalls, there's a hidden door she leads you to. These days, she says, I feel my life just like a river running through the year of the cat. Well, she looks at you so coolly, and her eyes shine like the moon and the sea. She comes in incense and patchouli, so you take her to find what's waiting inside the year of the cat. Still with her on the bus and the tourists are gone, and you've thrown away your choice and lost your ticket, so you had to stay on. But the drumbeat strains of the night remain, and the rhythm of the newborn day. You know, sometime you're bound to leave her, but for now you're gonna stay in the year of the cat. Year of the cat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Porthole to Justice. I am your host, Amelia Duran, and it is Monday, December 2nd, 2019, and that is the Year of the Cat, remastered. Al Stewart. Yeah, I'm still on my 70s kicks. Okay, Jacob, are you with me?
Hi, Amelia. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Welcome. I was just kind of playing an intro song because it allows, I kind of share the show on social media. And, it allows some people to join us in the live chat if they want to. We're going to just kind of talk freely about due process today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah. And, man, if you talk about due process, let me tell you, you're never going to run out of things to talk about.
I started to tell you yesterday on the phone. Somebody came on one of my blogs, the Porthole to Justice community chat, and they said, why are you even bothering with this? You're never going to shut CPS down. You're never going to get due process in the lower courts. It's a noble cause. And I just thought to myself, like, gosh, what a stick in the mud. I guess I should explain myself. Instead of being like a bummer, I said, well, we've accomplished this. We've come up with a national, a national blog, or tracker for missing and exploited children. We've come up with a way for CPS News Network to sort of monitor this unregulated government agency that's out of control with terrorism and child trafficking. And I guess I tried to be nice and present my position, and instead of coming back and presenting his position as to why, or his argument, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, right? He was just very condescending and kind of rude, and he said, well, let's just agree to disagree. He said, you're never going to shut it down. And I said, well, we're already kind of progressing and taking over. I mean, because CPS, Child Protective Services, is privatized. And that means the definition of privatized means the transfer of ownership, property, or business from government to the private sector. That's termed privatization. That's when the government ceases to be the owner of an entity or business. It also relieves them of liability, as well. But yeah, we've come far over the last 7 years, I'd say, as far as the internet goes.
This guy you're talking about sounds like a petulant tyrant to me. Sounds to me like he has an agenda to shut you down, and somehow he thinks he's going to do that by, I don't know. He almost reminds me of the guy with the glitter cape on Dinner for Schmucks. Thinks he can mind control people.
Well, it just seems like there's a ceaseless sort of retaliation that it's not going to go away. The issue's not going away, and obviously there's a need for what we're doing, and we're growing, and I think that, society as a whole should be looking at this situation with Child Protective Services pretty, seeing how they can, dig in, being that it is privatized. It's desperately needed. The children are our most precious resource. And we, the people, know that this issue is on the table at the White House. This issue of corrupt Child Protective Services and the fraud on the court. And we, the people, since it is privatized, we can create new blueprints. We can come up with new ideas and things to resolve some of these issues and the fraud on the court. And that being said, I think the first thing that we need is due process in the lower courts. So, you tell me what you think about due process.
Well, I think that if we go back to the Bible and look at the Bible as a source of common law, and the Holy Spirit really is the inventor of the common law. I think if we start there, that's a much better foundation than you having a "because I said so" regime. It's unfortunate that the law schools have fallen into this thing where they think that common law is judge-made law, but it's not. The judges are actually bound by it, and their job is to discover it. And along with the plaintiff and defendant counsel, the litigants and the judge are supposed to work together to discover what the common law is. And this is like following the Holy Spirit. And as you can see, when you have people that are dead spiritually, they can't. They don't even have the tools to work with to understand what the law is. To get started with due process, you have to think in terms of something simple like when you go do a retail transaction. What's going on there? If you go to a grocery store and buy a bag of apples, what kind of things are happening? The clerk is an agent for the grocer, and the clerk can speak for the grocer, right? And people get in arguments about whether who has the authority to actually walk out with the groceries if there's no clerk there. And there'll be libertarian people that think, well, you have a contract if you just have an advertisement, right? But they don't understand there's nuances here. We have a common law of England here, and you really do need to do certain things by the book. And the reason I bring that up is there's a lot of people that call themselves super patriots or patriots, whatever you want to call them. Some people are calling them sovereign citizens. They think that they can just... you can't paint them with a broad brush because there's a lot of nuances there, but some of the failures that we've seen with this type of political thinking has been that they think they can make a kit that has some filings in it that basically say that the law doesn't apply to them, and then they just think they can go around and, I suppose, do whatever they want. There's people out there teaching there's no constitution. It's really astonishing to me that this has happened. It's like it's kind of like they've seen lawlessness happening in the court system, and then they've created their own lawlessness as a response.
Exactly. We see it really prevalently online with the movement. They're just popping up everywhere. They're making up these sort of kits that you can sell as like a bullet for the Child Protective Services, juvenile court process. And it really doesn't work that way because there is no cookie cutter case. Every case is unique. So, just like every family is unique. So you're not going to get, a bulletproof process really to, win your case like that. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
As I understand it, there's actually was a case in Texas not too long ago, and the law clerk, I believe, wrote about it, where they were using property-based arguments to for a father to stop the mother from concealing the daughter. So he wanted the daughter brought to him like on something that was the statutory equivalent of a writ replevin, which is something you use for like recovering, books, refrigerators, personal property. And he's asserting a personal property right in his daughter. I think that technically that's doable. As long as we understand that